So a few weekends ago, we took our new camper van and we went to Assateague. We stayed at the Delaware State Park on Assateague Island, which, if you're not from around here, is a barrier island just off the coast of Maryland. Assateague runs, it's partially in Maryland and partially in Virginia, and then there is a sister barrier island named Chincoteague, which does have one town and is probably more famous because of the pony swim. I get ahead of myself. Both islands are famous for the herds of wild ponies that live there and that have adjusted to eating the really salty marsh grass. So the two states manage the herds differently with different levels of management. Birth control, population control. In Virginia, they do the roundup and they auction off the ponies to, of course, good homes. But as a child, I was a big fan of the books, Misty of Chincoteague, about these wild ponies. So it was really fun to be there for a weekend. The weather was absolutely perfect. And I sat down at our picnic table to do a page in my travel journal that lives in Oso, our Solis van. I try and incorporate a lot of ephemera, like from the park brochure or the park map that they give you when you check in. And you're going to see that in part of this, where I'm collaging in the map and collaging in, of course, a pony image. I'm testing out a new phone holder. So there are parts in this video where you're going to miss a segment because I was actually using my phone to look at a reference picture specifically of a moth that I'll be drawing on this page a little later. So it was a bit of back and forth and a little bit of a learning curve to see how to get this portable filming station to work best for me. I try and do some direct drawing in the page of something that really catches my eye during the time that I'm working on the art journal or during the time at that site. This was a lovely plant that was growing all over the dunes, and a volunteer who was doing some chores around the campsites had a plant app and could confirm that it was indeed a kind of goldenrod, a seaside goldenrod to be exact. I also like to look for patterns and like to look for designs in nature. So there is a pattern coming up soon that was simply the lines of the dunes where the wind had made those kind of furrows in the sand. We were camped just in from the dunes. So really high dune covered with seagrass. Our beach crossing was closed because of storm damage, and literally on the other side was the ocean. So it was nice to be able to hear the sound of the waves while I was working. You were probably just hearing the wind that was being picked up by my phone, but trust me, I could hear the ocean waves. Here are the pages as they stand now, and they're not quite complete, but I did add some photos that I printed from my phone using my Canon Ivy, both of the waves and of one particularly amazing sunset. That moth that has been drawn in Posca pen is going to be done in watercolor later, but I just didn't get that finished. They were flitting all over the site and feeding on the seaside goldenrod. There's a little blank space on this one too. I wanted to include that photo of my workspace with the van in the distance and the dune hill rising up because it was just such an amazing sight and I wanted to remember that. I, of course, put in the dates, put in part of the map, and that long, thin watercolor at the top of this page is exactly my view looking up over the dune, seeing that fence silhouetted against the blue sky. We did not see any ponies at our campsite. We saw them as we were leaving, on other parts of the island, more on the marshy side. So it's nice to have that photo from the brochure that I can upcycle into a visual on this page. So I have plenty of time to finish this, and then this journal will live in the van, ready to document the next adventures as I travel and art journal on location. As always, like and subscribe and stay tuned for more adventures. But thanks for tuning in for this weekly spark.